Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Lord Macha here at lordsofgaming.net. I'm here with Lindsay, the co-founder of Timberline Studios, to talk about their new game, The Red Lantern. How are you doing today, Lindsay?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. So tell us a little about The Red Lantern.
Yeah, so it's a dog sledding, story-driven survival game where you play as this musher who'd set out to do all these things in her life. It didn't quite go as well as she wanted, and she decides to hit a really big reset button. You know, we all make rash decisions sometimes, and she decides to go become a dog sledder and move up to Alaska with her best buddy Chomper. It doesn't go quite as well as she would hope.
So what's the main elements of The Red Lantern? It's more narrative and exploration and survival, or is it just like a big mix of the three? Like, what's going on with it?
It's a pretty big mix. So we wanted to give you sort of a story structure that allows you to understand the base elements of go to Alaska, start your new life, get this new home, adopt 4 dogs to go out with you and Chomper. There's actually 9 total dogs. So you have a different build basically each time you go out there. And then encounter the wilderness. So the wilderness, starts out and you're enthusiastic, you're excited about nature, but reality kind of hits you at some point, and you have to kind of reckon with who you choose to become, when faced with the hardest of consequences.
Perfect. And with those challenges, what kind of unique narrative elements are we going to see throughout Red Lantern?
Yeah, so each dog has their own mini arc. So you're going to help them figure out who they want to become. Barkley, despite his name, is actually quite quiet. He tends to bite before he barks. He really wants to protect you, the musher. So you want to teach him to bark before he bites, basically. Help him protect himself and scare things away. And so you'll also encounter, moose, weasel, Arctic foxes, ptarmigans, all the things I've read a lot about along the way, and a whole bunch more animals. And each scene has different things that can happen. Obviously, you're going to hunt to live, but you're going to see some other surprises along the way. You could maybe try to pet an elk. I don't recommend it, but it is a thing you could try.
So now that we talked about a little bit what's to expect in the game, let's take a look at what we're actually seeing here. Can you break down a little bit of what the player is going through?
Well, he just encountered a squirrel that Chomper was pretty excited about and just went in and wrecked house. The squirrel is obviously small for the kind of rifle that you have, so it exploded a little bit. And everything is a resource, ultimately. So he let Chomper go out and basically eat the rest of the squirrel, so it didn't go to waste. And that's a big part of the game, is we actually want hunting to have a lot of meaning to it, too, where it's this is about food. This is about getting to the places that you need to get to and using your dogs to help, and as well as you helping them get there. So we can see that he's making the decisions to go left or right. You're going to have these different nodes, sort of an FTL kind of game where you're going into the forest or towards the river to find the different things from there. He's probably going to want to camp right after he meets this little caribou.
So we got gameplay, we got this narrative elements of the game. Now the visuals, the way the game looks is gorgeous. So what's the inspiration behind that?
Inspiration behind that. That's all on John here behind me. No, the inspiration. We study a lot of different types of art styles, basically. Our background, we worked together on the King's Quest episodic series, which was all hand watercolored.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. So we are very an art-driven studio, so it has a lot of brush textures to it. We wanted to keep it very stylized. That also helps with being a small team. We don't have to do everything real in the animation.
Right, how big is the team?
6. And we have
Wow.
a couple of people helping us right now, so we're at 8-ish, but mostly 6 of us.
Wow, and so what can players expect as far as the length of the game? Is it? I did see before it was a roguelite game.
Yep.
So how long will players be in a narrative, story-driven game?
So to do the full story, it'll be about 43 minutes-ish, like a premiere episode of television is kind of how we look at it, 45 in that zone, where each playthrough is shorter than that. So you'll be able to obtain persistent items. As what happened to him, he just died, but you actually don't have to die. You wake back up in the van as you were adopting the dogs, and you're veering off the road and you're oh my God, I just had a nightmare about the horrible things that could happen to us. But it's her catastrophizing all these scenarios, but not actually in the context of dying. So you're becoming more and more prepared each time you run out there. If you find new items, you get to keep them. You're I should have packed an axe. That would have been a smart plan. And so then she brings an axe with her, like in her later runs. So that's how we've built this all out.
Perfect. It sounds like an amazing game and it's super fun, and it has dogs in it, so it's an automatic win.
Yep.
So, but thank you so much for your time, Lindsay. Thank you for talking about the Red Lantern.
Thanks.
One last question. When can people play the game, and where's it coming to?
Yeah, it'll be out later this year. We'll announce the date a little closer to launch. And it'll be on Switch, Xbox, Xbox Game Pass, and Epic Game Store for PC.
Perfect. We'll take a look out for Red Lantern. This is Lord Macho signing off on lordsofgaming.net. Stay tuned for more.